Who owns the Nazis? In Vatican Ratline, Maury cites the Nazis as, quote, the Vatican's army. Surely this is an absurd claim, and there must be nothing to it. Anyway, in his key work, The Popes Against the Jews, the historian David Kurtzer describes how the practice of labeling Jews with yellow signs and subjugating them into ghettos did not start with Nazi Germany, but rather with the Roman Catholic Church, which he asserts has actively subjugated and scapegoated the Jews for centuries. He cites Pope Pius VI's 1775 edict, which states, quote, Jews of both sexes must wear a yellow-colored sign, by which they are distinguished from others, and they must always wear it at all times and places, both in the ghettos and when they are outside of them. Kurtzer further explains how Nazi racial law was actually heavily based on none other than the heavily anti-Semitic Jesuit publication Civilita Catholica, which described Judaism not just as a religion, but as an evil racial issue that needed to be dealt with. Kurtzer explains how this Vatican-approved anti-Semitic journal laid the ideological groundwork for modern anti-Semitism and the Nazi Party. Indeed, Kurtzer states, quote, the legislation enacted in the 1930s by the Nazis in their Nuremberg laws and by the Italian fascists with their racial laws, which stripped the Jews of their rights as citizens, was modeled on measures that the church itself had enforced for as long as it was in a position to do so. Roberto Farinacci, a leading member of the Italian Fascist Grand Council, states, quote, indeed, the Reverend Jesuit Fathers call for the annulment of all the laws that give the Jews political and civil equality. The fascists thus had in the Jesuits constant precursors and masters in the Jewish question. It has also been independently revealed by ex-Jesuit priest Alberto Rivera, as well as ex-Nazi military Otto Strasser, that Mein Kampf was actually written by the Jesuit priest Bernhard Stampfel and handed off to Hitler. Hitler was also definitely not who most people think he was, but that is for another video. In Hitler's Pope, John Cornwell explains how the Nazi Party could not have come to power without the help of the Roman Catholic Church, specifically Eugenio Pacelli, the Vatican's Cardinal Secretary of State, and the future Pope Pius XII, secured Adolf Hitler's legal path to dictatorship by negotiating the 1933 Reich Concordat, an agreement that required the dismantling of the Catholic Center Party, the last viable democratic obstacle to the Nazi regime in Germany. To anyone with eyes to see, Rome is currently in the process of reviving their army, and they are succeeding. They employ papal court and Freemasonic Jews as their agents to be the controlled opposition to which they will soon supply the solution to. And because everyone is so rage-baited, the masses will blindly accept it.